Being raised as a multiracial person in this country can be complex at times. That sense of belonging can be elusive and a little confusing. At least it was for me. I remember the first time I felt truly welcomed and that I belonged in Black spaces. As a multiracial Black young person, for me, it was really not until I super tentatively slipped into the Black Student Union and I super hesitantly went over to a group of students and asked, is it okay for me to be here? And someone turned to me, and remember, I was a super shy child, like painfully shy child, right? And someone turned to me and said, hey there, of course, welcome. I'm getting chills just even thinking about it. I could have cried. Actually, I think I did cry a little bit. It meant so much to be seen and welcomed in that way. Have you ever had that experience where something real and honest, something tender and raw, and you put it out there and you wonder how it's going to be received? If someone would roll their eyes or change a subject or walk away or judge you, I know I have. It's super unpleasant. Or have you ever had that experience where someone, a truly special, sweet soul, has leaned in towards you, stayed present with you, and you could really feel that they were holding your words, your heart, your spirit with care? Have you had that moment? Moments like these can feel so rare, and when they happen, it's astonishing. They remind us of what it truly means to be seen and held. And that poem that I shared before, In Sweet Company by Margaret Wolf, she captures that kind of moment. She describes that holy experience of being received without judgment, of having her joy celebrated and her struggles honored. I love that line, you make room in your heart for my voice. In that kind of company, she says, we find a sense of home, not a building, a set of walls, but in the heart of community. As Unitarian Universalists, often we speak as the sacred, not something far, far away, but as something that rises in our midst when we dare to live as though belonging is sacred. That sacred that arises when we feel interconnected with all of creation, with each other, when our values and our actions align. Belonging is more than just being welcomed. It is being claimed as essential, being told through your words and actions, you matter here. We need your voice, your gifts, your being. I like that term, sweet company. In sweet company, belonging becomes both a gift and a responsibility to make room for one another, to bear witness to each other's truth, and to rejoice when joy is found, because we need a lot of joy right now. This poem reminds us of how fragile and powerful this gift can be. We all know what it's like to feel dismissed or ignored, and how much we hunger for a community that embraces with compassion rather than judgment. But blessedly, that poem doesn't linger in that pain. It points us towards what is possible when we stay with one another and we don't turn away. She writes, you stay with me in the dark, you urge me into being. Do you know what I mean by that? Have you ever had someone who's helped urge you into being? This is what it means to belong in beloved community, that someone will sit with us in those shadowed places and urge us gently into a light. That we might behold in each other not only the person before us, but also the glimpse of the person to come. And this feels especially urgent in our time. We are living through an era of deep, profound fracture, where civil discourse has eroded, where conversations so quickly turn to shouting matches, and where people are treated as enemies rather than neighbors. We are witnessing the rise of ideological and political violence, fueled by fear, disinformation, and mistrust. It is a great tragedy, the moral rot at the core of American society, that gun violence is so prevalent, the most extreme expression of hate. And we hear far too often words spoken in hate in our streets, in our schools, online, even sometimes in our houses of worship. It goes without saying, hate speech wounds, dehumanizes, and divides. So how do we respond? As Unitarian Universalists, it is not our call to mirror hate with hate. Our call is to respond with courage, clarity, compassion, and justice. That means speaking up and showing up, not to shame, but to protect the dignity of all. It means naming when speech crosses the line into cruelty or dehumanization, and when we can, offering instead a reminder of our shared inherent worth. It also means turning inwards. This is the part that gets a little uncomfortable. It means turning inwards, examining the places where harshness and prejudice live within us. For if we are, can we get honest for a moment? All of us sometimes carry those seeds of unkindness, of judgment, and even contempt, yes? Come on, we're being real here. The work of building beloved community requires that we notice these impulses, name them, and intentionally choose a different way. It is the spiritual equivalent of saying there is enough destruction and division in the world, and we are drawing a faithful line and saying no further, not here and not with me. The Reverend Dr. William Barber, do you know Dr. Barber? Amen. Calls us into this steady work of moral resistance. He writes, now is not the time to shrink back in fear. Now is the time to courageously join our forces and our voices in a general lament for the cruelty we are witnessing, in the hope that a new movement of love and justice and truth is already rising to overcome it. The truth is, beloveds, those who cling to greed and division fight so hard because they know how powerful we could be if we come together across race and region, across faith and tradition. That's hard. But Dr. Barber proclaims we are not afraid. We will not hate you. We will transform you through the power of love. Beloveds, that is our declaration. And that becomes real when we put our faith into action, informing and inviting in our neighbors, organizing, registering voters, working for policies that lift from the bottom so that all may rise. Here at UCR and in communities like ours, we practice this daily, and practice is truly the right word, yes? It's not perfection, it's not a law, it's not an edict, it's a practice. We come together because we not all think alike or believe alike, but because we long to live a greater truth, that love is calling us into a deeper wholeness, even in the midst of conflict and tension. And that together that we can embody a love that celebrates our differences while binding us to one another with care. Perhaps you've heard me say before, the root Latin word, thank you, Rick. I spoke Latin in high school, learned Latin in high school as well. The root word in religion is religio, which means to bind. As a religious community, we are bound together in love. So together we risk honesty, trusting that we will be held. Together we rejoice in joy and grieve in sorrow. But I do have one holy caveat to this. We have come to say that all people are welcome here. Yes, all people are welcome here. But, you rarely will hear me use that word, but not all behaviors or beliefs are. If someone is openly transphobic, for example, they will be challenged and invited to learn and grow. But if their actions become toxic and destructive to our unity and our mission, they may not find belonging here, and that's okay. Transformation, deeper spiritual growth, and greater acceptance, these are the values that we encourage here. We are learning and growing together. Growth requires risk. Trying new ways of being, committing to a deeper path of living. Each time we risk opening our hearts, each time we resist hate from taking root and festering, whether on our lips or in our thoughts, beloveds, we inch closer to the world we dream about and we are building together. And in this inching, we discover that belonging is not only for the one who is welcomed, it transforms us all. I know that deep in my bones that this draws us into relationship, into courage, and into that sweet joy that I know we need right now. As Wolf writes, in sweet company, I am home at last. So, beloveds, may we continue to build such sanctuaries for one another, homes of the Spirit where love is the foundation, moral resistance is steady, and belonging is the gift that we both give and receive. Beloveds, in sweet company, we are home at last. May it be so.